After crossing into Argentina and hiking through Los Alerces National Park, it was time to return to Chile. There was still one hike around Futaleufú that I hadn't managed to do. A steep trail through dense forest, waterfalls, fixed ropes, and a hidden mountain lagoon. And somehow, just as I reached the top, it started snowing. Alright, it's already 11 and we're starting hitchhiking. Again, I'm still a bit tired, my legs feel tired from the hike. But it's time to go back to Chile, back to Futaleufú. On April 27th, I left Esquel and started hitchhiking back toward Futaleufú. And this time, things started extremely well. I hadn't even been waiting 10 minutes when somebody stopped and took me to Trevelin. From there, I still had around 40 minutes of walking just to get outside of town again. First ride after not even 10 minutes, really quick, and we're in Trevelin again. And now we're walking to the end, and then we're gonna start hitchhiking again to the paso for Futaleufu. We start off Trevelin. Trevelin is not big, but it's long, so it takes a whole 40 minutes to walk. And with the backpack and the energy I lost the last days, it's quite a bit of walking, but we're almost out and then we hitchhike again. This right here should be perfect. We're gonna hitchhike here. Yes, we're gonna wait right here. Let's see how that goes. Then it was back to the road. Around 30 minutes later, another ride had already taken me. The ride brought us to the crossing. And now the last place is Los Cipreses. This is the small pueblo before the crossing. So this road is the last road leading there. So let's see if we can find a ride. And there I waited for about 50 minutes. Then something pretty funny happened. The next person to stop was someone I already knew. It's the same guy who had given me a ride toward Los Alerces National Park a few days earlier. He was heading to work, so during the ride I got to tell him how the hike had gone. We got another ride, we were almost at the border. And funny enough, this guy picked me up the second time. He was the guy who brought me to the national park. He was one of the rides I took. So he recognized me. I got in and I'm like, I know this car. And he's like, Leo. Very funny. So he's working here at Los Senderos. And yeah, funny. Very interesting. So yeah, we're almost at the border. So 1 or 2 rides and we should be in Futaleufu. I just checked, we're just 2 kilometers away. So I'm gonna start walking. But maybe there's a car picking us up all the way to Futa. We made it to the beautiful, fast-flowing Futaleufu river. And that means we're not far away from the border. And maybe that means we're like an hour away from Futaleufu. Maybe, depending on how many people are at the border here. So we will see. Not many people here right now. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if I talked about it. Dulce de leche, sorry for my pronunciation, is a very famous Argentine sweet. It's kind of like a Nutella from the consistency, you could call it, but it tastes very different. It's very nice. How to describe the taste? You just have to try it. So if you're in Argentina, definitely get some as your souvenir. Or if you're going back to Chile, get some. It's perfect. Not long afterwards, I reached the Argentine border. I checked out, walked across the stretch of no man's land, and entered Chile once again. Right, we're out of Argentina. Now we're crossing the no man's land, which is not too far here, so we can walk it as well. If I remember correctly. and then hopefully getting back into Chile. Bienvenido a Chile. There's the crossing, and Futaleufú is not far from here, so we're making good progress. And we made it back to Chile. My potatoes didn't make it, but we made it back to Chile. So now we are a bit away from Futaleufú, like 10 kilometers, not too far, but too much to walk with this backpack, so I'm gonna wait somewhere here for somebody to pick me up.
After checking in, I walked a little beyond the border post and started waiting again. 28 minutes later, I had my ride, and this one took me all the way to Futaleufu.
We made it to Futaleufu, and now it's this way, a few kilometers to the campsite at the lake, and hopefully it's opened. It's always a bit of a gamble here at this time of the year.
I waited for a while, but eventually decided it wasn't worth standing there any longer.
Change of plans. I'm actually quite tired, and this looks very inviting. So we're gonna ask if it's open, and I think it is, because why would it look like this if it's not opened? And then to the day hike we have a bit more hitchhiking to do, but not too bad, so we're gonna stay here. Doesn't look like it's open, so back to hitchhiking it is, and we stick with the original plan. Not many cars coming anymore, so we're gonna go back in town and go to the camping where this one is closed, so we're looking for a different one. We finally found a camping, and we're gonna stay 2 nights here. I have to plan a little bit, because like I already said, I'm gonna repeat it again because I don't know how I will cut the episodes. I'm gonna meet my family on July the 11th in Bolivia, and I have to see how much I will do here, depending on the time I have left, because I still want like about a month for Atacama. So I have to plan a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna see. So yesterday was just editing and taking a good long pause, and now we're at the same spot again where we were before, and we're waiting for a ride to the start of our trail, and I'm not sure if it's possible today to go there with hitchhiking and back, but I hope so. We will see. Not many cars here. So the problem is I'm already waiting for like an hour and a half, and it takes 1 hour to get there and then 6 hours to complete the hike. So it might not be possible today, but I honestly would be happy with another relaxed day. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer, but we have to plan in around 7 hours to get there and back with the hike. So I don't know.
Goal was Laguna Pinilla, also known as Laguna Toro. 2 hours has passed before somebody finally stopped.
Not waiting too long. Good news, the hike is only 10 kilometers, I thought 20, but that's good. And around 5 kilometers from here there's the start. And this nice man brought us almost all the way here, but he had to go right there. So we're gonna walk a bit and see if we can reach it by foot.
From where I was dropped off, I still had a bit of walking to do. But with mountains like these around me, I really didn't mind.
So I just got some amazing drone shots from the area here, because this is not in a reserve or national park. The national park starts a bit outside, but the lagoon is not inside of there, so here it's possible to film. And 3.8 kilometers, and then we're at the Sendero at the trailhead. almost at the trailhead, which is quite nice.
When I reached the trailhead, I met a friendly Argentine couple. We ended up starting the hike together. Almost immediately, the trail disappeared into dense forest. Everything around us was bright green. And the forest floor was full of strange mushrooms. It was another completely different side of Patagonia. The scenery was beautiful, the incline less so. The trail climbed pretty aggressively through the forest. Slowly we gained elevation, and the higher we went, the colder it became. But every time the trees opened, the mountain views became better.
We're almost there. The mountain is peeking through.
Partway up, we stood beside a waterfall and got a place to refill some water and take a short break before the final climb. From here, the trail became noticeably steeper. There were even a few sections where fixed ropes had been installed to help with the climb. Nothing too technical, but definitely enough to make the final section interesting. One last look back toward the mountains and then Laguna Pinilla. This was the reason I had come all the way back to Futaleufú, and almost perfectly timed with our arrival it started snowing. We sat beside the lagoon, ate some food and just enjoy the place for a while.
So we made it up. It's snowing, so I cannot take any drone videos because of the weather, but it's so beautiful here. We're going back down.
Eventually though, it was time to go back down. The steep sections were almost more interesting on the descent. Back down the ropes, past the waterfall and into the forest again. Luckily, I wouldn't have to hitchhike back. The Argentine couple were also returning toward Futaleufú. I asked if they had space for one more, and thankfully they did.
Pero aquí son 12. 11.
So by the evening, I was back in Futaleufú.
So I met some people while hiking and they were nice enough to bring me all the way back. Otherwise it would have been quite the question if we would have made it back today, but worked out perfectly, very nice. After the hike, I decided to cook us, so
I cooked some food, packed my things and got ready to leave again. Coming back to Futaleufú for a few more days had definitely been worth it. The forest, the mountains and especially seeing Laguna Pinilla disappear into the snow made for a pretty good final hike here. But tomorrow I would be back beside the road, this time heading west towards Argentina. So see you in the next one.